Wymore, here, fake news.
Okay. Alright, I just think I was sitting there the entire time. Okay. Welcome back to an episode of the Dotte Radio. We're here with Marshall Wymore. We're here to talk about media literacy and or fake news. Now, fake news is a very broad topic, so we're going to be focusing here today with Mr. Wymore as fake news and the effect it has on elections and the political process.
Correct. And traditionally, it used to be that you had your local newspaper, right. You had 3 television channels, mm-hmm. and then you had maybe radio, and that was it. So you got your news from one of those sources.
Right.
When the internet really took off, then you saw the fragmentation of all of that. You could have a very fringe view and find through the internet other people that were like-minded.
Especially in the beginning, people were so used to newspapers being these trustworthy sources.
Right.
And the internet came along and everyone thought it was just a replacement of that sort of stuff.
Correct.
So then they take that, that's gotta be true.
Exactly. People today, in general, feel a lot more skeptical of what they're reading for 2 reasons. One is because there is a change in the credibility of certain news sources, and that's even some that we consider to be household names.
And this really played a big factor, especially when Vladimir Putin paid for all these actors to be on social media to start influencing the election.
Correct. What Putin did that was really smart was he was able, from the outside looking in at America, see that division. He saw how people were extremely divided. They weren't looking at each other's views. They weren't saying, I respect you. I might not have to agree with you, but I respect you as a person. But he saw that online and in online forums and so on, that they're screaming at each other and calling each other names and basically reducing them to an us versus them mentality. I think part of the job of us teachers is to help you understand how media works and how to check the credibility of the sources and see who's actually saying what.
Do you think most fake news is written on purpose or accidentally?
I think that there's some kernel of truth to both of those.
Do you think the danger of misinformation and fake news is as big a problem today as it was in 2016? Because personally, when I was approached with this episode idea, I had mentioned it. I was kind of like, why would I make an episode about this? I didn't really think it was that big of a deal as it was back then. So, do you think it's as big as it was today?
Yes. Actually, I think it's an even bigger deal than it was in 2016.
Do you believe, at least to some degree, that there was Russian interference in the 2016 election, and to what degree?
I guess I don't know exactly what degree there was intervention. I would say that there was some. But again, I think more than anything, it was that they wanted to try to exploit the differences and the giant canyon between the right and the left that has developed in the last 15 years or so. And so I think, yes, there was Russian influence. Was it enough to influence the election? I don't know. I don't personally think that was probably the influence as to what the outcome.
In terms of all this, affecting the political landscape and people, how is it affecting your actual classroom?
Excellent question. One of the things that I need to do as a teacher is make sure that any sort of outside resources that I'm using, whether it's through building lessons or something that I actually assign to students and say, here, go to this website and check this out, is that it's credible. And there's an extra step there. Because if I was teaching this class 30 years ago and I'd say, here, I photocopied this newspaper article, you would accept it as being,
that it's already
right, because
credible.
They've done the fact checking for us.
Yeah.
I think part of the thing that really concerns me is a lot of the adults in the room. Part of my job as a teacher is to prepare the next generation, and I think a lot of the adults have done a poor job of doing what we've talked about here,
right.
Which is checking your sources.
Right.
But there are a lot of people that would say, you know what, Jude, you're my cousin, okay? Let's just say that you were my cousin and you posted it on there. I trust you. We're family.
Right.
So if you're going to post that, it's got to be true. Or if we were best friends, well, obviously I'm going to agree with my best friend on this because, I agree.
We're not best friends.
Right.
This is a revelation.
All right. Well, I think that's all we have time for today. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
It's great. All right.
He was actually a little bit skeptical on the camera, but he didn't actually know this was being recorded until 2 minutes before.
Stop the cameras. Stop.